Oh, so cold and dusty. Oh. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Amipal. Today we're going to take a look at some Amiga 500s that I've got stashed up in the loft. They've been up there for way too long. I know we tend to take a look at Amiga 1200s, such as this, on this channel, but the A500s I've got, they need to be opened up and checked, because some Amiga 500s and A500 Pluses came with battery backed up clocks, and those batteries, like the rest of them, are getting quite old and have a tendency to leak over time. So if any of that kind of acid gets onto the motherboard, it can wreak havoc. So I'm going to grab those machines, we're going to open the boxes, open the cases, which will be a voyage of discovery for myself, as I've never actually opened an A500 up before, and we'll see what's going on in there. Fingers crossed we've got nice clean motherboards and no leakage, but any reaction you see from me will be genuine, I promise you. Let's crack on! Okay, the first box we're going to look at is this rather plain A500. It includes the very first step-by-step Amiga tutorial. We'll have a look inside because I honestly can't remember what's in there. Let's get it open. Okay, here we go. As you can see, it's upside down, but it opens this way. Right. Now, I don't think I've looked in here, but it looks like I've got an external floppy drive. How about that? With a switch on it. Who knows what that switch does? It could be to switch between DF1 and DF0. But it's a Kamuna, I don't know how you pronounce that, drive. There we go. It's a very yellow device. There's the machine. I can already see how yellow that is. Oh dear, that is going to need some. That's going to need some work on it, isn't it? Because I don't think I've ever seen a machine so yellow. That is a severe case of jaundice, isn't it? Look at that. The power supply. Here we go. That looks like it's. Well, I won't get it out actually, but it looks like it's more or less of a jaundice victim than. It's very difficult to do this with one hand, but yeah, there's the power supply. Let's get this out of its polystyrene casing, and we'll have a look at the rest of the machine. There's a big bag of silica gel at the bottom of the box, so hopefully that'll help with the damp in there. Okay, warning: to prevent damage, turn power off before connecting or removing cables. So we've got all the standard ports here. Slightly different layout to what you're getting on an Amiga 1200. For instance, the power supply is all the way over here rather than at the end where it would be on the 1200. And the right and left audio also all the way over here. So I shan't plug it in just yet. I really want to see the state of the interior before I do. But I don't know if you can tell from the video, but there's quite a difference here between how grotty the case is versus everything else. So that's a nice clean bit there. Okay, here we go. Here's the underside. Again, it's just upside down. It's got a trap door just like the A1200. I don't know what's in here. I had loosened that. Oh, we have a board with a jumper on it. So we'll take a look at that in a moment. See, it's kind of plugged in here. Not sure if it's supposed to be that loose, but we'll take a look at that further. The A500 also has an expansion port on the side. Let's try and get some light on this. This is actually very similar to a Zorro slot on a big box Amiga. Very similar to a Zorro 2 slot. So you can actually plug some quite interesting devices into the side. I know there are CD-ROM and hard drive solutions available for the Amiga 500, but there are also accelerator boards that can go on there too. But again, let's get this beast open. Although since we're at the bottom here, we might as well go and see what this is. So yeah, I'm going to need to use 2 hands. So I managed to remove it. It took a bit of wiggling, and luckily the pins still look straight, because it is pins in there rather than a slot. But here we go. It's, by the look of things, it's a memory expansion. No, I can't get that. There's hair stuck on it. As you can see, it does have a battery on there, and you can see just how close it is mounted either side of those chips. I can't see any kind of degradation or leakage on there, but it's probably better off of there than staying on there. So I'm gonna get some clippers or some such, and just try and remove that, because that's just a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. Behold, the A500. I haven't opened one of these up before, so this is quite interesting. It's got a lovely mechanical keyboard. I have no idea if this machine or the keyboard works, because I've never plugged it in. I bought it off eBay years ago, and it's just languished in the loft. So yeah, nice looking machine. Bit of corrosion on the metal shield there. You can see the floppy drive is actually quite a bit deeper than the one you get on the 1200. It's nice and solidly in there. The keyboard itself has this massive chip built onto it, and it's also got the LEDs for the case mounted directly onto it, so you don't have this annoying cable kind of flying off to the case that you're constantly fighting with when you open it up. Cable's nicely cable tie behind and into there. So yeah, let's go a bit further with this. I really should have saved my behold for the motherboard itself, shouldn't I? This is a thing of beauty. I haven't taken the floppy drive out because the battery wouldn't be mounted under there. But from what I can see, we have no battery. Ordinarily it would kind of exist around here, but I think that's on the A500 Plus. So yeah, this is a lovely clean motherboard. This is actually cleaner than some of the 1200s I've been looking at, and they're newer machines. I'm astounded by this. You can see that most of the big chips are socketed, which of course makes it a lot easier to check them and upgrade them if they can be, or replaced if they're broken. Let's see what we've got here. I'm not actually that au fait with the inside of a 500. As I said, it's the first time I've actually opened one up. But we have Denise up here. We've got one CIA chip here and another one over here. I think that's Fat Agnes. Yeah, well, of course it is, because it actually says it on the board itself. Yeah. These are the RAM chips at the bottom, and I think that's the 68K. It's a huge 68K processor. When you consider the size of the 020 that's on the 1200 motherboard, that's about half the size of Fat Agnes, and this is a 68000, 68000. Then we've got the Kickstart ROM over here. And I don't know what these other big ones are. So, yeah. Oh, sorry. Paula and Gary. It helps I actually look at the board itself rather than just decide that I don't know what it is. But yeah, it's very clean in here. So you can see some of these capacitors are on the lean. I don't know if that's just how it was manufactured or if they've fallen over in time. This particular one was manufactured in Hong Kong. You can see Rock Lobster over here. Although, let's go a bit closer, actually, you might not be able to see that. There we go. B52, Rock Lobster, A500. We'll just go for a close-up and scroll around this magnificent board. It's beautiful, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. Right, well, I'm not worried about this one, so I think we'll cover it back up and check the next machine. I've plugged in the 500. Let's see if she works. She'll work with the standard power supply that I've already got for the 1200. So we've got a red light. Oh, it's got 2.0 ROMs. How about that? Well, I mean, the guarantee seal was broken, but look at that. That is a beautifully clean screen on there, isn't it? Wow. Now, I wonder what I can test with it. 2 secs. Let's give Lemmings a go. I'm amazed. That is beautiful, isn't it? I'm just letting the sound of the floppy drive fill the speaker at the moment. Well, that was beautiful, wasn't it? Oh, I've got to love Lemmings. So the machine works. I'm very happy with that. Very happy, considering how old it is and how long it's probably been sat idle. This is just using the standard Amiga kit mouse that I've got. Same VJ adapter, which just shows that this monitor syncs down fine across Amiga models. Oh, we've got to love those sounds. So this too. Right, well, I think we know that the disk drive works and the inputs work, so I'm going to switch that off now and we'll move on to another machine. Okay, one annoying thing about opening the 500 case is these little screws that have like a star pattern on them rather than the usual Phillips, so that required a bit of jiggery pokery with the electric screwdriver heads. So just something to bear in mind if you need to get into an A500. You may need additional tools. Okay, time for the next machine. This is the Amiga 500 Cartoon Classics pack, which must have been the introduction to the Amiga for many people. The pack that we got back in the day was the Batman pack, but this one does come with a lot of stuff. The exciting world of graphics, animation and sound is at your fingertips with the Amiga 500. And as you can see, it comes with 1 MB of RAM and the TV modulator. European Computer of the Year 90 and 91. So Deluxe Paint 3 should be in there. Bart versus the Space Mutants, Lemmings, and Captain Planet. There he is. I don't actually know if they are in there though, because it's been so long since I opened this case. But let's open it up. Let's go into the second box. This one actually opens slightly differently. It doesn't have like the flaps that slot into the sides, so you can tell it's probably a later model. Right. Well, there are a ton of discs in here. Look at that. We've got Project X. What's that? Kamikaze, with a slightly chewed backer disc. Not really sure why. The other Project X. Oh, cannon fodder. 1, 2, 3 discs there. Oh, what do I see there? Chaos Engine. Well, we like a bit of Chaos Engine, don't we? And Stunt Car Racer. So that's a nice lot of discs. Let's just shift those out of the way for now, and we'll see what other discs are down the side. Let's get that modulator out of the way. That is for plugging directly into a television, so it basically creates the aerial signals. Put that down there, right? What's all this? Shadow of the Beast 2, free with the A500 pack. Not with this one. Oh, look at that X copy. Oh dear. Z-Wolf. Now that is a fantastic game. We've got Deluxe Paint 3, Cannon Fodder 2. So this person like Cannon Fodder. What's in here? There's Lemmings. That's part of the pack then. We've got Frontier Elite 2. It's the other Cannon Fodder 2 disc. Amazing, they get the entire galaxy on like one disc. Amazing. And we've got Sensible Soccer. There we go. That's fantastic, isn't it? Right. So, ton of discs. Who knows if they work? What have we got in here? Power supply. Oh, more discs and a power supply. So, Supercars, the original Supercars, not Supercars 2. Speedball, the cheaper version. There's more D-Paint 3 discs. Animation and what have you. The other machine didn't have any discs with it, so this one's got Workbench 2.05 with it. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what model we have here. Aerial cable, and there's the PSU. Big chunky PSU. So that's all in there. I'm not actually going to check the PSUs because regardless of if they work now, I'm still going to send them away and get them fixed up by Phil Ayres because they are going to die at some point, so we might as well get them fixed. Right, let's crack this machine out. Right, I shifted the machine and there were actually a couple more things underneath. There's this beautiful Logic 3 speed mouse, which still has clicky micro switches, but I'm not exactly sure how good such a mouse is. I've never used one. That's a new one for me. But the most surprising thing was this. Now, I don't think Microsoft have ever made a 9-pin DIN mouse, and as you can see from the bottom, it does say serial mouse. So I'm not sure whether the person that sold this just found a 9-pin thing and thought, oh, that'll work with the Amiga, and just chucked it in. So yeah, I've got a piece of PC gumph in here with my my 500. Ugh. I really should have kept the other machine out, and then we could have had a comparison of yellowing. This one doesn't look too bad, but I'm sure when I look back at the footage afterwards, we'll probably find that they're equally bad. It doesn't seem as yellow, but it's certainly not as light as it would have been on release. Bit dirty down here, but that doesn't really matter. It's just cosmetic bits there. It doesn't open up to the case at all. All ports look fine as well. Can't see any issues there. So let's have a look in the trap door. Let's go that way around. This one is made in China rather than Hong Kong. So manufactured somewhere differently. Also, it seems to have Phillips screws on it, which makes things a hell of a lot easier for actually accessing it. So I'm happy with that. Let's get into the trapdoor. Oh, what is that then? It seems to be some kind of heat shielded or shielded anyway. Device in there. Now I'm interested. What could that be? Well, I've got to open it up anyway, so let's carry on with that. Right, well this seems to be some sort of memory expansion. I think it's probably like the 512K memory expansion. The shield is actually soldered down in place, so I can't get into it, but I've managed to peek inside through the opening, and I think there's a battery in there, so I'm going to leave this out for now and just open the rest of the 500 up. And we're in. This 500 also has no internal battery, so I'm dead chuffed with that. Everything looks very clean. There are a few spots of rust here and there on the metal components of the RF shield and the floppy drive there. As you can see, the capacitors are leaning over here too, so it looks like that's just how they were made. I'm seeing a few resistors that are kind of at odd angles, almost like they're factory fixes that have gone in for later revisions. This is a Rev 6A. I didn't actually check the other one, but I'm sure it'll be on the footage, so we can look back at that later. But yeah, it looks all very nice in here. Nothing to worry about, I think. I think we'll just get a nice snapshot of the motherboard, like I have with the other one, and we'll close it back up. So I switched on the second machine, and as you can see, it's Kickstart 1.3, which, considering this is I believe is a later revision than the previous machine I booted up with, kind of gets me thinking that the previous one might have had the kickstarts added to it at a later date. But obviously I don't know the history of the machine. Boots up fine, so let's get a disc in there. We'll try something different than Lemmings this time round. It's Project X. As you can see, I've got different drive colours. Green for power this time, yellow for drive. If it's going to do anything else. Hey! There we go, there's a lovely interlaced Team 17 screen. So again, it's another beautiful display out of this A500. I may even go as far as to say that both these 500s have displayed cleaner screens than either of my A1200s. No audio yet though, that's a bit concerning. Right, I've had to turn this right up. You can hear the buzz, can't you? It tells me it's probably something wrong with the audio. You don't want Paula knackered. Yeah, can't hear anything, can we? Right, well, looks like we've got an A500 with Duff audio, which could be Paula, it could be something to do with the outputs. Whoa! I'm playing this one-handed, so please excuse me for any performance issues. I'm going to switch this off because clearly there's something wrong with the audio on this. So, two A500s unboxed, opened up, poked, prodded, plugged in. They both boot, which is always good to see, so I'm not too worried about video output or anything like that. Both disk drives work, which is pretty impressive, considering the ones in the 1200 seem to be a bit naff. My only worry is the audio on this machine, which could just be a simple case of having to reseat Paula or some of the other custom chips, don't know. Never really had to tinker with an A500 in this way. But yeah, really good to see some classic games on these screens. Now, I did say at the beginning that I was going to take the batteries out. I'm well aware that I haven't shown you that or done that. I'm probably going to do that in between this and another episode while I work out what to do, because that memory expansion in this machine is all fully shielded and all soldered up, and I just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing when I kind of crack it open. I don't want to knacker the memory expansion in the process, so I'll do that separately. I'll let you know how I get on. In the meantime, if you've got any comments, questions or advice about the A500, please leave comments in the usual places. Thanks for watching. Hello again. I'm just editing this video, and I've discovered just how awful some of the focusing is. So if you've made it through to this point, thank you for watching. I do apologise for it, as I do manually focus most of my videos, and clearly there was something horribly wrong with my focusing. So I will try better in future, but in the meantime, please watch this space for more excellent Amiga content. Excellent.